Okay, so moving to the 20th question, how can we achieve customization and personalization using web parts, right? Now, before we go ahead and we talk about customization and personalization and we start implementing using web parts, we'll first try to understand on a general basis that what is customization and what is personalization, right? The first important thing about personalization and customization is about improving individual experience as per personal choices. So in other words, it's all about looking at the user comfort. It's all about giving user preference, right? So for example, that you have a website and you have features like for weather forecast, business news and sport news, etc. Now as an admin of the site, you have capability to change the look and feel of the website, which gets displayed to all the users. In other words, probably you will give some red background to the weather, you can give some blue background to the business news, and to the sports you can give something else, etc. Now this is a capability of the admin. But now from the individual user's point of view, somebody would like to see news and not the weather forecast, right? So the website should provide some kind of functionality or feature, where user can go and personalize their choices so that the website behaves according to their choices. Now the capability where the admin can change the look and feel is called customization, because this change is reflected to every viewer who comes to the site. In other words, whatever background color you are giving to weather forecast and business will be seen to all users. Now the capability of individual users, where they choose to basically view the news or to view the forecast, is personalization, right? So in other words, changes which are shared to all users are called as customization. Changes which are made by individual user and shared with only individual are called as personalization, right? So what we'll do is that let's take up a small project, and what I've done is that a small sample. This project which I'm going to talk about, or I'm going to implement customization and personalization, is not a practical one. And the important point here, why I'm not keeping it practical one, because it will confuse the user. So I've taken up a simple label, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say, okay, this label basically has font size and it has label data. So two properties of the label. Now what I want is that every individual user can basically go and change the label data, right? But whatever font size is set by the admin will be seen to all users. So in other words, the font size is more of like a customization and the label data is more of like a personalization. So let's see that how we can implement this web part in SharePoint. So the sample which we discussed previously, let's try to complete it practically. So what I've done is that I've created a simple class called as a simple label customization, and as we all know that we need to inherit from web part, so we have inherited from web part, and we have also referenced the web part namespace, right? Now if you remember, one of the important points was that we have two properties which we need to change. One is a label data and one is a font size. The font size is basically the customization aspect of the feature, and while the label data is more of a personalization aspect. So in other words, we need to somewhere say that this font size can only be changed by admin and reflected to all users, while the data can be changed by the end user, but he cannot change the font size. I'll try to explain what it is, but for this time just remember that we need to personalize the label data for every user and we need to customize the font size, right? So in order to achieve that, we need to attribute our properties. Now what I've done is I've also given the set and get for the label data as well as the font size. Now in the set and get, you need to specify the personalizable attribute and say that attributes which needs to be shared by all users have to be given the value personalization scope dot user. So in this way, what happens is every user has a right, or he will be able to change this value according to his wishes. But as soon as we say personalization scope dot shared, this will not be seen by every user, but will be only seen by admin, who can basically admin the web part. So he can only change the font size, but this value will be reflected to everyone, right? And our create child controls remains as it is. Okay. So first you need to compile the DLL, as we have seen in the previous video, that what are the various steps to deploy the web part. So I built this, I have already built this solution, and the build is succeeded, and I have taken my DLL from the web part customization bin, and basically I need to take the release. So I have taken this DLL and I have pasted it in my virtual directory bin. Once I've done that, I also need to specify in the web.config file saying that this entry is safe. So here's my safe control entry, where I'm saying that the class library web part customization and the namespace should be allowed to run in the SharePoint runtime. Okay, now once we have deployed a web part, we definitely need to go and add it to our gallery. So I've added the label customization and I can see that. Okay, now let's see how actually personalization will work. First thing what we'll do is that we'll just add that web part to the page. So let me add that web part, and I can see here, and I'm adding it. Right, now what I'll do is that I'll just go and say modify. Now because I have logged in as admin and I have clicked from the site actions, I'm actually editing the web part. So what happens, customization comes into action, and you will see that I'm able to see both the properties, label data as well as customized font. So let me put something. This is customization, and let me make a font size of 20. Right, and apply. So this is customization, but okay, so this is customization according to admin. Okay, now what I'll do is that I will log in as a different user. Okay, let me say I have a user called as QuestPond here. Sorry, it's Shiv. Sorry for that. Shiv. Okay, now I'm logged in as Shiv. Okay, now as Shiv, I don't want to see this value called this is customization. I would like to see this is Shiv. So what I will do is I'll click on the right hand side and I'll say personalize this page, and I'll click edit and modify my web part. Now I'm logged in as Shiv in the website, and what you will see over here is that I can only change the data but not the font. So let me say I'll say this is Shiv. Apply. Now when I log in as Shiv, I'll see the value this is Shiv. Now let me log in as admin. Administrator. Password. And here I am seeing this is customization. Now what I'll do is I'll also personalize this page saying that this is admin, so that we are more clearer. Modify my web part. Now when I personalize my page as admin, see now actually I have clicked on the top personalization, so that's why I'm not seeing the font property. If I click from the site page actions, I will see the font property, right? Because from here you basically customize this page, and from here you personalize the page or personalize the web part. Remember that you can disable this menu for Shiv or disable this menu for all the users and keep it only for admin, so that admin only has a right to customize the web part. So let me change this to this is admin. Apply. Right, and when I go to the home, I can see that this is admin. So when I log in as admin, I'm seeing this is admin, and when I'm log in as Shiv, I'm seeing it as Shiv. This is Shiv. So in other words, we have customized. So now I'm logged in as Shiv, and I'm seeing that this is Shiv, but I cannot change the font property, right? So to achieve personalization and customization, basically you need to put your attributes properly. So because we wanted the font size to be only monitored by the admin and the changes should be reflected to all the users, we have mentioned the scope as shared. While we wanted the label data to be as per the user, or it should be personalized as per the user, so we are given the scope as user. So this is how we can achieve personalization and customization using web parts. This is one of the most important feature of web parts and how it actually integrates with SharePoint. Remember that you should only enable personalization scope per user if it's really necessary, or if the functionality demands it, or if you want to really put personalization into action. Because one of the backdrops of using personalization scope.user is that it really brings down the efficiency of the project, or it really makes your processing time slower. Why? Because then the web part engine needs to store these values into database, and as per the user logged in, he needs to flourish that. So definitely that requires a bit of a logic which runs behind. So I hope that we were able to show you that how personalization and customization works using SharePoint, in using web parts in SharePoint.